Now, markets will be looking at Mario Draghi's definition of summer when the ECB meets tomorrow. That's because of uncertainty arising from the statement that followed the central bank's June gathering, which suggested that a rate hike wouldn't come until at least the end of summer next year. But in other languages, it hinted it could come in June or July. Well, investors aren't pricing in a hike until December next year at the earliest, so any hint of a move before that could boost the euro and, of course, put pressure on government bonds. So could Draghi actually deliver a summer surprise tomorrow? Still with us, Valentin Marinov from Credit Agricole and Pau Morilla-Giner from London and Capital Group. I love the fact that, it's true. Basically, if you speak German or if you're a French speaker, Valentin, the word used in the statement is different. It could be in the summer or after the summer. But this is a year away. So should we really worry about it now?
But to be honest, our central case is an eventful ECB meeting where Draghi sticks with the forward guidance and will try to avoid at any cost really any hawkish surprises, as in being a bit too specific about the month or indeed the date where the potential rate hike would come. So I guess the emphasis is likely to be the rates will likely stay lower for a longer if needed. So we would not expect any significant support for the euro to come on the day that is tomorrow. That said, it is worth highlighting that maybe the markets have overreacted by pricing out any rate hikes really almost for the complete of the entirety of the 2019. And we are actually a bit more hawkish on the ECB. We expect that most of the stimulus in terms of rates may be removed already by the end of 2019, as in deposit rates really going back to zero, right? So by December 2019. So from that point of view, we are more constructive on the euro over a longer term. On the day, however, as I was saying, there will be maybe less support for the currency coming from the president.
Valentin, how much is he going to field questions on trade and currency manipulation? What does that mean for Europe? And then I have a question on target too, because I have a cool chart for you.
Okay, it will be an interesting discussion, no doubt. I don't think that Draghi will want to get involved in any of that. There is no real evidence that the ECB has ever engaged in unfair practices ever since we had that concerted intervention together with other central banks back in 2000 to really stop the slide in the euro. So from that point of view, he could just look back in history and say, okay, you know what, all these claims are based on what? There is no real really proof for that. So I don't think that he'll want to go into that. On trade wars, I think ECB's position has been fairly consistent and clear. They see that as a clear downside risk, not only to the Eurozone recovery, but also to the global recovery. And I guess they'll continue to emphasize that whereas they see the Eurozone recovery as domestic demand driven, the potential headwinds for sentiment from trade war should not be neglected.
So, Pau, you're expecting, I guess, not many big waves, and so means that markets can kind of focus on other things.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a lot of room to maneuver for Draghi. We have enough geopolitical instability, Italy, etc., for him to, rock the boat.
Yeah, very quickly, Valentin, I want to show you the chart that was just sent to me by the Queen of Charts, Hillary, and thank you for that, because it basically looks at target to net claims. Now, this is a payment system owned and operated by the Euro system. You can see the difference between Germany, Italy, and Spain, and this comes also as we have news that Italy's president is trying to shield the finance minister from populists.
Yes, again, that's a very popular chart, especially if you're a euro bear or indeed, especially US clients like to highlight that. Fact being, however, that those assets and liabilities will only crystallize as actual liabilities for the peripheral countries if they actually leave the euro, if they are denominated in a different currency. So long as the euro stays in one piece, then these charts, however beautiful, don't really mean much. Needless to say, the more political noise there is in Italy, the harder it may become really the whole idea of ignoring those charts. But for the time being, we do not consider those in our analysis, but hopefully we won't have to anytime soon. But it really depends on whether the Eurozone is going to stay the way it is, right? So it depends on the outlook for the euro ultimately.